Hey guys, this is day 3, I almost said 2, day 3 of the Black Author Readathon. Popping back in to check in for my reading vlog. And also, I have a special treat for you all today. It doesn't seem special because I've literally just come off 2 haul videos, but I have more book mail. Also, please don't mind all of my clothes on my bed. Like I said, I'm in the process of moving, so things are kind of in transit right now, and I have yet to put up my shelves and my clothing rail. So just we're doing our best. So this box is from Megan again, from Books and Boobs. And I know a couple of the books that are in here, but it's definitely bigger than I expected. So I think there's going to be a number of things that I've forgotten in this box. So it's kind of a mystery box, you could say. All right, you ready? Oh, wow. Ooh, okay. My first book. Oh, I forgot about this one. Okay, so I definitely bought this one exclusively for the step back, but it is Heaven Knows by Elaine Kaufman. And this is the step back, y'all. Like, that's so beautiful. So obviously I had to get it. But the back says, a girl's dream becomes a woman's challenge. With her big dreams and flair for the flamboyant, hello, same. Lizzie Robinson is a feisty child besotted by the lazy charm of the most eligible bachelor on Nantucket. She had loved him forever. To Tavis McKinnon, Lizzie is nothing more than a delightfully outrageous imp. Whenever they meet, she does something foolish. Then Lizzie's reputation is so tarnished that she's banished to Boston for some much-needed taming. She returns to Nantucket, no longer Lizzie, but Elizabeth, a proper lady who steps into Tavis's life once again. Tavis can't help but see the beautiful woman she has become. But their forced marriage drives them apart, and Elizabeth learns to live without him. She can never imagine the dark and disturbing man who abandoned her on her wedding night will someday walk down a sandy stretch of beach and back into her life. For how can she know that time will turn his bitterness to love, and that obsessed by the woman he cannot forget, Tavis will set out to win her for good, willing to do anything for the love he so carelessly cast aside. Interesting. Okay. So it's kind of like a second chance. Typically, I want like the hero to be gone for the heroine and not the other way around. I'm intrigued by this one. Regardless of whether or not I like it, the step back was worth it. The next one that I have is Scandal Wears Satin by Loretta Chase. This is the second book, I think, in the Dressmaker series. Yes, second book in the Dressmaker series, and it is the last of the 4 books that I do not yet have. This is one of my favorite series, definitely by Loretta Chase, maybe one of my favorite historicals because it is about 3 sisters who are dressmakers, and the first one's the designer. I think one of them is like the writer who like writes all the nice things about their dresses in the newspapers, and then the other one is like the one who kind of runs things. But I just have a soft spot for anything fashion related in historicals, and this series has like the best descriptions of like fabric, of dresses, of color, and so obviously I wanted to own all of them, and this is the last one I needed. And it's got a great step back, like look at that. Okay, so I also got this copy of Night Song by Beverly Jenkins. I have not read this one yet, so I might end up reading this for Black Author Readathon. This was her debut, and the description says, a traitor's heart, Kara Lee Henson knows no soldier can be trusted to stay in one place, and that includes handsome Sergeant Chase Jefferson of the 10th Cavalry. Dallying with the dashing man in blue could cost the pretty independent Kansas schoolteacher her job and her reputation. So Kara is determined to repel Chase's advances, even though her aloof facade barely masks her smoldering desire. Never before has Chase longed for a woman the way he ached for lovely Carolee, the strong-willed ebony beauty, however, will not surrender easily. But with tender words and soulful caresses, Chase intends to conquer the reluctant schoolmarm's misgivings and teach her how to love fully, seriously, and forever. This one sounds really good, and also I know last month this was the group read for the Historical Hellions Club. I just didn't get a chance to read it in time, but I heard very good things. So I'm excited about that. Oh, I didn't realize I bought this much. Oh, so this is an Elizabeth Boyle, A Night of Passion. I also bought this for the step back because it is freaking gorgeous. Like, you see this? I love the backless dress. There's no description. The back says sometimes Cinderella loses more than just her slipper. Promising. I'm currently reading Elizabeth Boyle, my first Elizabeth Boyle, for the Winter of the Wallflower, and I'm really enjoying that. It's like a time slip, or it's not a time slip, it's like a historical AU. So I have high hopes for this Elizabeth Boyle. The next one is, I really like this one. This is Never Seduces Scott. It's Maya Banks. The heroine is deaf, I think. Yes. I think it's the third book in the series. Evelyn Armstrong is fiercely loved and protected by her powerful clan, but outsiders consider her touched, beautiful fae with a level, intent gaze she doesn't speak. Oh, she's mute. No one, not even her family, knows she cannot hear. Oh, I'm wrong. She is deaf. Maybe she does speak. Content with her life of seclusion, Evelyn has taught herself to read lips and allow outside world to view her as daft, but when an arranged marriage into a rival clan makes Graham Montgomery her husband, Evelyn accepts her duty unprepared for the delights to come. Promising, promising. Graham is a rugged warrior with a voice so deep and powerful that his new bride can hear it, and hands and kisses so tender and skilled that he stirs her deepest passions. Interesting. Graham is intrigued by the mysterious Evelyn, whose silent lips are ripe with temptation and whose bright, intelligent eyes can see into his soul. As intimacy deepens, he learns her secret, but when the clan rivalries and dark deeds threaten the wife he has only begun to cherish, the Scottish warrior will move heaven and earth to save the woman who has awakened his heart to the beautiful song of a rare and magical love. That sounds delightful. I've heard really good things about this book. When Megan found it, I just knew that I wanted it. Okay, I've got, oh wow, more than I expected left. Whoops. Okay, so this is another Elaine Kaufman. Again, this was absolutely a step back purchase because honestly, can you blame me? When Tavish Graham stumbles upon the naked body of Sophie D'Ambert, what? He thinks she's dead, but it doesn't take him long to discover that Sophie is very much alive and more woman than he can handle, so he leaves her with his brother James, Earl of Monley. Beautiful, young and French, Sophie finds herself on the wild, strange land of the Scots. Terrified and not willing to trust James, she fails to tell him that she is the granddaughter of Louis the Roman numeral, and that she is fleeing a forced marriage to her hated English Duke of Rockingham. Okay, that sounds like Sheriff of Nottingham. Reluctantly, Sophie begins to fall in love with the rugged Highlander, and before she can reveal the truth of her past, James discovers her royal connection and wonders what else she is keeping from him. Can James resist her, or will he defy the might of England and France for a lover as wild and passionate as he is? Okay, I am a sucker, as I have mentioned, for a Scottish hero, and this sounds phenomenal. Also, the sword is like shiny, which is cool. Stoked about that book. All right, I have 3 more. The first is Scandal by Amanda Quick. This one does have a step back and it's gorgeous. There's a dragon. So again, I had to get that. It looks like there's like the lace here has dragons on it on the fan. And I read Deception? Dangerous for the Winter of the Wallflower, and I knew I wanted to grab another Amanda Quick because I really liked her voice. But this one says, with her reputation forever tarnished by a youthful indiscretion, lovely Emily Farrington is resigned to a life of spinsterhood until she embarks on an unusual correspondence and finds herself falling head over heels in love. Sensitive, intelligent, and high-minded, her noble pen pal seems to embody everything Emily has ever dreamt of in a man. But Simon Augustus Traherne, the mysterious Earl of Blade, okay, that's a great name, Earl of Blade, is not at all what he seems. Driven by dark, smoldering passions and a tragic secret buried deep within his soul, Blade has all of London cowering at his feet, but not Emily, never Emily, for even as she surrenders to his seductive charm, she knows the real reason for his amorous suit, and she knows that she must reach the heart of this golden-eyed dragon before the avenging demons of their entwined past destroy the only love she's ever known. Sounds bonkers. I'm very intrigued. My hair is doing some weird things here. It's fine. Very excited to read this book. Oh, wow, I did not realize how many books I was getting. Story of my life. Okay, 2 more books. Oh, this one's so good. So this is a Sabrina Jeffries. I haven't read a lot of Sabrina Jeffries. And it has a step back, so there's no text to read except a small quote that says, Juliet pretends to want a respectable husband, but she recklessly longs for the scandalous rogue who once held her captive. And this is the stat back, ladies and gents. You see this? They're just sitting in furs on what looks to be a sleigh in the nude. Pretty wild. Very excited for that book. And then the last one that I got, this is so interesting to me. I'm gonna take the box off the desk. So this is So Worthy My Love by Kathleen Woodiwice. But it has a step back. So it's like a trade paperback size, but it still has a step back, and it's got these beautiful, glowy, huge candles. I have never read a Woodiwice, but this was too good to pass up, so I immediately claimed it. So the back description says, it was a time of intrigue and treason in Elizabeth's England when Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth. When Elise Radburn mysteriously disappeared one night from her uncle's estate with no idea who her kidnappers were or why they had abducted her, the British beauty found herself prisoner behind the great stone walls of an ancient castle. Then Maxim, her wily captor, revealed himself, and thus began a battle of wit and will between 2 people so perfectly matched that they could only fall in love. Interesting. We'll see about that. Honestly, I'm realizing how many of these I just purchased for the pretty step back, and that would be pretty much all but 3 of them. So, okay, anyways, these are, how many books did I get? I have a total of, wow, I really forgot how big these were. 9 books from Megan. Thank you so much, Megan. You're a gift, you're a gem. On to my reading blog, thoughts, comments, no concerns, just thoughts. No words, just thoughts. Lots of words, let's be real. So today I finished Inevitable Seductions by Christina C. Jones. This one I think I gave it like a 4.5 or 4-star, 4.5. I thought this one was really phenomenal. I listened to it in audio and it was narrated by Jacoby Diem and Siobhan, I can't remember her last name. But the narration was really phenomenal, and the story follows this like model turned mogul, Nubia, and she like kind of has this thing for this ex-rugby player, Steph. They end up like running into each other. He's half, oh gosh, Argentinian, I think? Yes. He's half Argentinian, and so they run into each other in Buenos Aires and kind of have this like magical date. And I think he like fingers her on the dance floor, and it's like wild. But then she like kind of like says like, I don't need you so long. But he like kind of always like starts thinking about her, and he like can't stop. So he kind of continues to pursue her, and she kind of has this whole like, I don't have time for emotional connections. Like she's just looking to have a good time and have some good sex. But then it kind of like, you find out that the reason that that's the case is because she has kind of this trauma. It's connected to having cancer. And then she's had cancer before. She had to have a mastectomy, and her fiance at the time left her because he kind of couldn't handle it. So she's been kind of bottling this all up, hasn't told anyone, and then the hero finds out. I think he walks in on her in the shower. And so he kind of finds out, but he's like, I want you to tell me like what happened, like I want to know this from you. And so she tells him, and she kind of starts to open up to him, and they have this really lovely relationship. But then they find out there's a surprise baby, they find out she's pregnant, and when she goes in to kind of do some like routine blood work, they find that there's a growth on under the breast tissue. I think because she got implants or something, and there's a mass of tissue. And so she ends up having to like go through chemo again. And when she tells the hero, what's his name? Steph. When she tells Steph, he like kind of freaks out because it's like startling news, but he doesn't really handle it well. And she's like, fine, if you can't handle this, like, fuck you, I don't need you. And so he's like, oh no, I messed up. And so then they have to kind of resolve that, and he apologizes. And and then they end up together after he does apologize. So this one, like I said, I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was really good. I loved the heroine and the hero. I loved that he was like so gone for her. But it was like really emotionally heavy, and so if Cancer is gonna be a no-go for you, or if like it was also pretty focused on like babies and having children and how she like was really worried she couldn't have a child. So if either of those things are tough spots for you, I wouldn't really recommend this book. It's gonna be probably too much, but it worked for me and I really enjoyed it. The other one that I have not finished yet, but I'm working my way through, is Set by Alexandria House. And this is like a mature couple. I know the heroine has been married twice, and she runs into this guy that she knew at her high school 20-year reunion. They kind of hit it off. They're both really into each other, and they're like kind of just like this whole hookup, friends with benefits situation. This book is so filthy. Like it's a novella. I think it's like a 2-hour listen on, it might be 3. 2 or 3 hour audiobook listen. I'm listening on audio. Also narrated by, I think it's the same 2 narrators. They're really phenomenal. They have great chemistry. It's so hot. Lots of sex. They also talk like quite a bit about squirting, which I feel like I don't see a ton in romance. So that was kind of like, oh, unexpected. Yeah, that one's super hot. And they both kind of realize that they like want a little bit more than they maybe wanted in the past, but they've already like told each other like, oh no, like I never want to be married again. I never want to like deal with someone else's like crap. I don't want to deal with someone else's shit. But and they're like, wait, do I want to have to worry about someone else? Like, do I want to live with another person? They do. So that one, I think I have like 45 minutes, maybe 30 left in the audiobook. Thanks to Teresa Reads Romance on Instagram for the rec. She posted that on her story the other day. So today, I'm done with work for now. I'm probably gonna get a little bit of reading done. I'm not sure if I'll finish the audiobook before tomorrow. We will see. I do have the reading for Winter of the Wallflower, which is Elizabeth Boyle's Mistress by Morning. That's a really fun one. It is essentially the heroine is pining for her best friend's older brother. She makes a wish, inherits a magic ring, so that her wish to like be the woman that he loves comes true. But she's like in this alternative universe, she's his mistress, and like it's this whole mess. And Dana actually said, and I think that she was super correct, that it's really more of like, if it didn't have the like historical aspect, it might be closer to a women's fiction, because it's more about like that kind of like asking for getting more than you bargained for when you ask for something. But it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it. We're like 60% through, 70% through. So I have a couple chapters that I want to read for that tonight. And then the other thing that I'm trying to get to is The Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shoup. I got this in the mail recently, and I've been supposed to be doing a buddy read with a couple friends from Instagram of this book. This week we were like supposed to start on Monday. I haven't opened it yet, and it's Wednesday, so we will see. So I have the chapters for Winter of the Wallflower. I am supposed to get through, I think, like at least half of this book by tomorrow. I don't know if I'll get that far. And then I also really want to start Jodie Slaughter's Just One More. It's a Valentine's book. The hero is a barber. The heroine is a tattoo artist. And they both like love Valentine's Day. They run into each other. I think they have some sort of like accident, or like a physically run into each other. I don't think it's like injury, but like there's some kind of like, oh no, what's going on with my day? And then they run into each other. But then it's like a meet cute, and then I think it's also a one night stand. I'm not sure. But I just got that on Kindle Unlimited. It looks really cute. I think it's also free right now, even if you're not on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure. So those 3 books, I'm hoping to get to at least 2 of those tonight. We will see. I might touch base one more time today after I've done a little bit of reading. I might not. We will see. So if I don't, see you guys later. Hey friends, this is day 4 of the Black Author Readathon of February, and checking in today for my reading vlog. So yesterday I finished Set by Alexandria House, listened to that in an audiobook. It was really great, and then I think that my library has the other 2 audiobooks. At least one of them is available to borrow, so I'm probably gonna be snapping that up later today. But yeah, that one was really good. I think I kind of gave most of the info about it yesterday, but they just at the end admit that they have feelings for each other, and there's some things that kind of come to a head with the heroine's daughter. And the hero gets to like play protector, which is fun. But yeah, that one was great. And then I also finished my, not related to Black Author Readathon, but I finished the group read for Winter of the Wallflower this week, which was A Mistress by Morning by Elizabeth Boyle. And that one is actually really fun. I think I was curious about how they're gonna end it. It's essentially like 13 going on 30, but historical. And I was wondering like how long we'd spend in the alternate universe, because I wanted to like see the hero and the heroine fall in love, but they spend a pretty decent amount of time falling in love at the end of the book, like in real life, and it worked for me. It was very cute. I also started my arc of The Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shoup. I got to chapter 7 yesterday. I was doing a group read with some friends, and I'm really enjoying this one. It's so funny. It's giving me a little bit of like Sabrina vibes, and also a little bit of like a little bit of the Duke of Haven from Sarah MacLean's Day of the Duchess, because the hero and the heroine grow up, they always spend their time together, I think on Nantucket. Hey Dee.
Why is your door not closed?
I just didn't close it.
Do you want me to close it for you?
Sure. So they spend all their summers together on Nantucket, they grow up together, they're best friends, and then he overhears her saying like, oh, he's only a brother, I would never be attracted to him, so he's devastated, and he goes to Paris, and then comes back years later, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna ruin my family and get vengeance. And they're like, you have to marry someone because we're ruined. And so he's like, at that moment, he immediately thinks of Maddie, because I think they say her name, the heroine. They're like, oh, you could marry Maddie. And he's like so frozen. He's like, okay, yeah, I'll marry her, but just because he loves her. But I'm still gonna ruin them. But he didn't say that. So he has her arrange, essentially, like I said, from the Day of the Duchess, like a house party to get him married. But obviously he's in love with Maddie and not gonna be with any of them. And it is phenomenal. The chemistry is really fun. The banter is fantastic. The other people at the house party are also really interesting, so you can tell she's like seeding the next books for the series, which is great. Nellie is my favorite thus far. I'm obsessed with her. I want to know everything. So he's like, yes, I got to chapter 7 of this one, and then I also started Just One More by Jodie Slaughter. I'm a couple pages in. I'm enjoying it thus far. The heroine's in an Uber pool. That's as far as I've gotten. It's only a couple pages, but I'll be checking in later today just to give y'all an update. My bet is I'm gonna find a new audiobook to listen to while I work today, so later I should have at least 2 books to chat about. So, see you guys in a bit. Hey friends, I am just checking back in on day 4. So I ended up, after making that very long, excessively long, arguably too long list of books I wanted to read on day 1, my initial video, the audiobook that I started today is not one of the ones that I had listed, but it is by an author that I had listed. So I started listening to Writing Her In by Holly Trent. It's one that I have like heard quite a bit about, and I've like intended to read for quite a while, but just like never got around to it. It's really good tea. Also, I'm drinking tea in a mug that I got from Gigi Reads Romance, and the tea that I'm drinking is Trope tea from bodice, and it is, this kiss was supposed to be educational, which it's like a hibiscus rose blend. It's so good, and it's like everything that I want right now. It's just warm and cozy. Anyways, so I started reading Writing Her In by Holly Trent, and this one is really interesting. It's a contemporary, it's a, I don't know if it's poly, so this one, the, oh, is Carol coming in? Thought I heard Caroline. So this one has 3 protagonists, and essentially the setup is that Stasia is an author, and she's like doing an author event. She lives on the East Coast, but she's doing a event in LA. And when she posts about it, the model, her cover model, like text message, or I think he DMs her on Twitter and is like, oh, like you're here, I'd love to get drinks with you. And so she goes to get drinks with him and his wife. But what she doesn't know is that like he and his wife like very much love each other. They're like very happy together, except she's like not sexually attracted to, so it's Dara and Adrian is the couple, and Dara is not sexually attracted to Adrian at all, and Adrian's like he's in love with her. He like wants to make her happy, and he like would never really consider like looking for like cheating or anything, but like she just like isn't attracted to him, and like he and I think I think in this world like he would be content to like, if she didn't want him to, like he would not be with anyone else, but like I think she could kind of sense that he was like unfulfilled, was like, hey, like just because I can't do this for you doesn't mean I want you to be like chaste forever. And so what Stasia doesn't know is that Adrian is going to proposition her at dinner if things like go well, and so he does, and Stasia's like, you're literally here with your wife, and he's like, well, like, and like she confirms it that Dara does, and then he's like, I want to do like, I want this to be someone that I know that's like relatively like safe and not going to say a bunch of crap, and I'm really attracted to you. And so she says yes, so they go home and they bang, and it's like tension's immaculate. It's fantastic. So but the next morning Adrian has to like dip out for work really early, and Stasia is like in their bed still, and she's unclothed, she's nude, and so like Dara goes in to grab her swimsuit. She has to do some laps in the pool in the morning, and she like sees Stasia, and she's like kind of turned on, and it's like never, like I think she talks about like, or she like in her internal dialogue is like, I've never felt attraction before, like what's going on, and so it's kind of, and so then like I think there's this like interaction between Dara and Stasia at the pool, and I think that I'm sorry, I started this morning and it's been a long day, but I'm pretty sure that Stasia like fingers Dana by the pool and makes her come, and she's like, I don't think she's had a partner make her come before, because it's never gone well with Adrian, not through lack of trying, but if it's not gonna do it for you, it's not gonna do it for you. So like literally like after that night, like kind of everyone's changed, and so it's really interesting because I feel like with a lot of like books that I read where there are where it's like there's a triad of some kind, I usually gravitate towards either like MMF or MFF, because if people are like, at least prior to this, I would say like if people are in a relationship together, like they should be fucking. Personal opinion, or at least like in the romance that I read, because, and I think the reason that I kind of have that attitude is that what I will see most often is like MFM, where like the men are like, I think that there was some resistance that I had towards like, oh yeah, we're two men that are like having sex like with each other in the sense that like we were like doing this together, but like no homo, like we would never fuck each other. It just kind of struck me as odd that like I feel like if you're like, it's one thing if there's like a one-time sexual act where you're like, this is not a feel, like I don't have any feelings. I don't have any feelings for this person. But if it's like, oh, I'm gonna live the rest of my life with these 3 people and like I will have continued sex acts with this person, but like I'm not into them. Like it just felt odd to me, and I think the reason that it felt odd is that like even in a space that is like that is not straight, because there's like that's not like straight heterotypical because there's more than one person, it felt like there was this like, yeah, it was this like assumed straightness of every person in the room. And so because of that, there was never some sort of like dialogue about like what the relationships were, and that always bothered me. But then I feel like it's been really interesting to read this book or listen to this book. By the way, the audiobook is narrated by Sean Kristin, who does a ton of, like, I know he does a lot of Adriana Herrera's books. He's done a lot of, she does the Dragon Shifters, Ruby Dixon books. He's awesome. Highly recommend. I don't know the other 2 narrators' names off the top of my head, but they're also phenomenal. And I really liked that each of the characters have their own, like, voice. I thought that was a really good idea. But this book is really interesting in that like it really talks about like why why Dara. So it really talks about why Dara like loves her husband. Like she loves Adrian, she like cares about him, she loves taking care of him, but she just isn't attracted to him. And so like there's scenes where they're like taking care of each other, like she like cuts his hair, but it's just very clear that like this is someone who she loves but is not attracted to sexually. And that like would make sense to me, and so she is kind of falling in love with Stasia, or at least she's gonna fall in love with Stasia, and then what's his face, Hero, Adrian is also kind of falling in love with Stasia, and it's cool because I feel like in this case like Dara and Adrian, like they're never gonna bang, and I would guess unless something changes, but I don't think that it will. And like that doesn't frustrate me at all because I like understand who they are, and I think that it would like not like, because I fully see what the like dynamic is, like I get that. And I feel like if I'm reading, I think that's what I was missing in a lot of the like MFM books. I think the one that like that did it the best was one, I can't remember what it was, but it was by Rebel Carter, where like it was very clear that these 2 men like loved each other, like they were very good, like they loved each other, they just weren't sexually attracted to each other. And I think it didn't use the language, and so it like hadn't clicked for me yet. But like those are, I think, where like that book and also this book is really working for me, because it doesn't assume, it doesn't make any assumptions about sexual identity, whereas I feel like there's a lot of books that I have read that just kind of assumes straight, hetero. It doesn't make assumptions. Like it delves really deeply into the relationships of all the people. Anyways, I am going off on a tangent. All this to say, Writing Her In by Holly Trent is really phenomenal. The narration's great, and I think that while I often am looking for something that's like fast paced to keep me like engaged while I'm listening, this one, because there's so much character work going on and so much like internal dialogue and so much like personal, I mean it's a lot of angst, but it's so well done and I'm really enjoying it. I think that I'm like, I expect that I'll finish that. I've passed 50% mark on the audiobook, so I think that I'll finish it probably tomorrow during the day. I really want to find a romance audiobook by a Black author that's a fantasy. I tried to look for some today and I couldn't, so I'm on the lookout for that. I also read Just One More by Jodie Slaughter today. I started that last night, but this one was so cute. It is a novella and it takes place only over I think 3 days. The hero and the heroine meet on like an Uber pool and immediately like they see each other and they're like hello, like the heroine like I think she's staring at his junk, honestly. No, his thighs. She sees his thighs and she's like, oh my god, and then looks up and he like sees her looking at him and it's like interesting. But they're kind of like making eyes at each other and chatting up on this Uber, and then this one of the other guys in the Uber throws up and Whitney is like, oh my god, I'm getting out of here. So she like jumps out of the Uber, is like, I will walk the last 10 minutes. I don't want to be in this car with this person who's just thrown up. And then Victor, the hero, is like, okay, I gotta jump out too because this girl is something special. So he jumps out, they end up, I think he takes her to dinner and it like goes so well that she's like, would you like to take me home? So he takes her home and they bang and it's phenomenal. Very sexy. So good. And then she like kind of intends to like hit it and quit it and leave pretty quickly, but she's like super tired. She's like, I guess I'm gonna have to stay. And then the next morning they bang again and they just like can't leave each other, like they just want to be in each other's presence. So like they end up going to Target and shopping for towels and they go home again and they watch a movie, and there's this really cute moment where like I think they're watching like Men in Black, and she's like, I feel like this would be more fun, like this would be really fun to watch if I was high, and he's like, do you want to get high? And they're kind of like have this moment where they're like, I wasn't sure if we were cool like that, or like I wasn't sure if that was like your vibe, and they're like, nah. And so they like get high together, and which like isn't my thing, but like that energy of like just two people who are like comfortable with each other and like let's just like watch some fun dumb movies and like totally chill out. But yeah, and it's just like so cute. They end up just like watching movies together, and then like I think they go to her place, and so they sleep over at her place, and they spend like 3 days together just like hanging out and having good sex, and like they don't want to say goodbye. And it's interesting because it's only 3 days, there's not like a third act breakup so much as like she has to like prepare to go to work, so she goes back to her place, and then immediately they're both like, I regret this so much, and they go to find each other. That was so cute. Really enjoyed that one. I would probably say that was like, I'd probably say it was a 4-star. I mean, it's one of those ones that like, because it's, well, no, I would say it's pretty solidly a 4-star. I really enjoyed it. Like they were really cute. It was hot. It was fun. I liked both of the characters. A1 book. I think I have an arc of Wild Rain, and since that comes out on the 9th, I think that will be my next ebook read. And then after that, or after I finish writing her in, I'm not sure what I'm gonna listen to. It's hard to find audiobooks. We'll see. I'm probably just gonna pick a lot of books that aren't on my list, so whoops. Of course, I spent all this time writing a list that I don't use, but what are you gonna do? So I think that's it for tonight. I finished, I think I said this earlier, but I finished His Mistress by Morning for the Winter of the Wallflower group read. So it is like, oh gosh, is it? It's past midnight here. I am gonna read a couple chapters of The Heiress Hunt to keep up with my group read of this. I loved it yesterday. I'm gonna try and be spoiler free, or at least not like big spoiler free. I kind of shared some setup info yesterday, I think. I might have to cut some of that out. I don't want to be, since it's an arc, I don't want to be super spoilery, but I will say this is a phenomenal book. I didn't love The Devil of Downtown. I loved The Prince of Broadway. I was not super impressed with Devil of Downtown. It didn't quite do what I wanted it to, but thus far with this one, it is fulfilling every desire I might have for a Joanna Shoup book. I think that I'll finish that by Saturday. We will see. I will be checking in again tomorrow morning. See you guys.